Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We want to welcome everyone who's joining us on Zoom. I'd like to give a personal shout out to my Aunt Flo out in Hawaii, my mom who's watching from Illinois, and we want to welcome Brad Volk, Beth-El's organist emeritus. So thank you for being here. This is our second worship committee-led Shabbat service of the 2025 calendar year. Per popular demand, I want to offer a bit of an explanation or description of the worship committee. The members of the committee, at least per my most recent email, include Matthew Henkin, Ruth Roper, Angie Friedman, Bruce Weiner, Jeffrey Burke, Kim Factor, Mark Sloter, Russ Schultz, Robert Simon, Rabbi Shoshana, and myself. We are a committee that offers guidance to the rabbi and the congregation to meet the spiritual needs of our congregants and worship experiences. When we meet, we often discuss details and opportunities to enhance worship experiences during upcoming services, particularly holiday services, but also Shabbat traditions. And speaking of Shabbat traditions, I would like to invite anyone who would like to come up to the front to light a tea candle as we approach the lighting of the Shabbat candles, which is a tradition that we do every week to welcome Shabbat. I would also like to invite up Ruth Roper to light our Shabbat candles. Our prayer for the lighting of Shabbat candles can be found on page 120.
I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. Lo Yisad Gover Lo Keret, Lo Yisrael Lo Yichama, Lo Yisad Gover Lo Keret. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more.
What a wonderful way to start Shabbat. Let's join together.
Einu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who powers us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav,
Please turn to page 124. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numerous generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visual sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves together. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these draw away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer.
We will continue on page 144 with Chatzi Kaddish. Vid Kadash Shemei Rabbah B'alma Divrach Yirtzeh V'yamlich Malchuteh B'chayechonu V'yomechon Uv'chayedechol Beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman Kari V'yimeru Amen Yeshmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Olam Me'amaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach Yitba'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalah Shemei Dekudesha B'richu Leila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Damiran Belma V'yimeru Amen. Please rise on page 146 for Baruch Hu. We'll now turn to page 149 and read together in the middle of the page. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And on page 150, Avat Olam, Beit Yisrael.
We continue on page 155 together, please. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God.
Please be seated. We will continue reading together at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gaal Yisrael. We'll turn together and read at the top of page 161 in English. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We'll now turn to page 162 for Vishamru. We'll now turn to page 164 for tefillah. Please rise, and I promise I will cue you to sit down at the right time this time. We will now continue with a moment for silent prayer. You may do that standing or seated. When you are finished with your silent prayers, you may be seated as well. We now turn to the middle of page 371 for the Misha Berach portion of our service. Tonight, we are keeping in mind Christopher Long, Janie Rosenblum, Ann Westerman, Susan Schultz, Kevin Lehrer, George Berger, Bob Lewis, Alan Feinberg, Sue Lurie, Mina Devora Bott-Ruth, Sandra Price, Harper Feld, Hetty Collins, Ilana Knust, Stephen Rapfogel, Steve Ginsberg, Linwood Smith, Cynthia Gilbert, Martin Sharp, Martha Brown, Jeannie Long, Leslie Arnove, Yaakov Furman, Hollis Weiner, Ginger Pine, and if anyone has a name of someone they would like to offer who is in need of healing, you may offer it as I point across the room.
Peter Levy, Eliana Salazar,
Tom and Beth Lawson.
Meredith Cohen.
Richard Simon.
Alexander Roman, Keith Benton,
Ethan Rosenbaum. Shirley Herman.
All right, let us sing together in the middle of page 371. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Our Torah portion this week is Parshat Vayachel. The portion begins with Moses gathering Bnei Yisrael, the Israelites, together. During the gathering, Moses shares three important things: that God commands observance of the Sabbath, a list of offerings to be given, and a detailed outline of how the tabernacle should be constructed. And then they all leave his presence. Following this, the Israelites made offerings, the tabernacle is constructed, and we receive more detailed description of what all this entails. While this reading can seem dry, and I would agree it's not the most exhilarating piece of Torah, although punishment or death for not observing Shabbat is quite provocative by modern standards, I think there are questions we can ask ourselves, one another, or that we can explore as a community. For instance, what is acacia wood? Wow. That did not work. Okay. When we reflect on such detailed description of the tabernacle as it's being constructed, I think there are many angles from which we can explore. First, we can consider how our synagogue might compare. What similarities are there and what differences? Do we miss the sacrificial altar? When we read of incense offerings, are there particular smells we associate with Shabbat? Maybe the smell of freshly baked challah. Maybe the perfume or cologne of someone we regularly greet. When I was growing up, I definitely remember a few fellow congregants in Tyler who are not very conservative in their utilization of perfume, but those memories and smells are my own personal olfactory Shabbat memories. What about the old saying that your body is a temple? After all, we are taught that we are created in the image of God. How do we prepare ourselves for Shabbat? How do we treat ourselves during Shabbat? Also, since this is a worship committee service, how do we prepare for Shabbat as a community? Do we reach out to one another or invite our friends to join us on Shabbat? Do I contact John more than an hour in advance of the service to prepare? The last time the worship committee led a service, I was pleased to receive 2 emails with positive messages, but also with thoughtful and constructive feedback. Prior to tonight's service, another member spoke with me about the importance of offering some sort of teaching moment or devar. As a speech-language pathologist, I know the importance of teaching, but I also know that self-reflection is almost always more powerful and meaningful, which is why I pose these questions to you tonight. What is Shabbat to us? What does the synagogue represent to us? What do we do to contribute to a sense of community? And how can we improve so that future generations will bring their own offerings and maintain these walls that surround us? After all, what's most important is not that we have the walls, but that we can come together within them. I would now like to invite Robert Simon up to lead us in Aleinu on page 586.
Please rise. Rise before the open offering. Ready?
Before I read the names, turn to page 593. We have a short reading together. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it's radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal circle of darkness and death, of light and life. Okay. As is our tradition, when I read the names of fortunately, we do not have anyone on the Shloshim list. No one has died in the last 30 days. As I read the names of the people on the yard site list, it is our custom that if you are remembering that person, that you stand if you so choose. No one is forced to. But if you see people stand when the names are read, that is why. When I finish with all the names, then everyone will rise and we'll say Kaddish together, and the Kaddish is on page 598. So, at this time, we remember the following members of our community who have died in years past, whose yahrzeit occurs this week. Dennis Alter, Leon Berenson, Ronnie W. Vermont, Doris Bronstein, Kevin Capper, Maria Chand, Louis Cohn, Jackie Cole, Frank Dover, Samuel Fryer, Gerald Friedman, Marion Goodman, Selma Greenberg, Dr. Evan Hirsch, Selma Hochberger, Ruth Hockman, Marilyn Hoffman, Bertram Jacobs, Philip Jacobson, Marina Jaramillo Halevi, Norma D. Clark, Marvin Adrian Labovitz, Miriam Labovitz, Hanina Lerman, David Lessem, Charlotte McGowan, Leona Mizell, Dorothy Pellberg, Rosalind Rosenthal, Edmund Rothschild, Nathan Rubin, Selma Schwartz, Flora Schwartz Siegel, Leo Selig, David Simon, Harry Teeter, M. Rose Towns, Francis Weltman, Rick Williams. Is there anyone that any other member here or any other person here is remembering whose name I did not read? Okay, thank you. Please all rise. We'll say Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, v'yamal divrach rutei v'yalmich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'galat v'zman kari v'yimeru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu Israel. Yit barak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. Viet hadar, viet halev, viet halal, shemei de kudesha barichu, le'emin kol virchata v'shirata, tushpakata v'nechamata, dam yaran v'yamal v'yemeru amen, yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yemeru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yemeru amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all, and let us say, Amen.
Please be seated.
Our closing song is Osei Shalom, which is this last two lines that you just said. Osei Shalom, Amen.
We will now turn to page 123 if you would like. This is a part of the service where we will sing Kiddush and followed by Hamotzi. If there are any children or anyone who's just really craving grape juice in the audience tonight, we do have more cups with grape juice than we do have children, so come on up. Children will be given first priority though. We have 8 more cups, if anybody wants to come on. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zicharon l'maseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefilah l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta, yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava uvratzon, inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. And we will now officially conclude with Hamotzi. And be sure to hang around and grab a little bit of challah before you leave. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.